Hello everybody, welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon. I'm back today for the first episode of a new mini-series here on Encounter Roleplay called Low Fantasy Gaming, and that is exactly what we're doing here today. In fact, there's barely any fantasy, it's just low gaming. And no, we're playing a new system here, which just kickstarted recently called Low Fantasy Gaming. You can go check it out on their website. Links will be down below. We are, of course, sponsored by them here today to show off the system to you guys for a little bit. It's got a lot of similarities with both D&D 5e and Warhammer, two of the best parts of that thrown together to create this sort of setting agnostic set of rules that you can play in any world. So let's go around the cast and the crew. We're going to be playing through a little bit of a fun adventure from Low Fantasy Gaming called Blight over Bryndewold today, slightly translated into one of my own home campaign worlds. And let's meet the cast of characters for today that are going to be joining us, and of course the wonderful players. So let's start with Drake. Drake, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Will, and I'm thankful to finally be on this side of the camera for once. Usually you can find me here on Saturdays in the back, doing things, but today I'll be playing Balthazar, the very ancient dwarven monk who has trouble with seeing, so I'm going to have fun with that one.
That's going to be good. I like it already. We've got Charlotte Foxfire22 with us tonight. How's it going today?
It is going pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm ready to get into today. I've been looking forward to this one and bring some pain.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rush trying to get characters rolled up and rules read, and it was actually pretty fun last night when we were all starting to talk about the characters that we're going to play and whatnot. So for this one, I'm going to be playing Fiona, half-elf, twin sibling to Leona. So we'll see how this all goes.
Amazing. Well, let's go over to Leona. Cleric Accord, how you doing tonight? Welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Oh. Helps if I unmute. It's been an evening. It's been an evening. I'm doing great. Good to see you again. It's always nice to sit down with you and play. I will be playing Leona, the twin sister of Fiona, a half-elf rogue. We've had a lot of fun putting this together. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, last but not least, we have Staffan back with us today. Staffan, how's it going, my dude?
Oh, it's going great. Well, hope things are going well up there as well. Tonight and for this, I'm going to be looking to play Harold Green, the somewhat old and somewhat exploded human artificer. I said it's been a blast chatting with these good folks, trying to get everything set up, and we'll see where the chaos takes us. Excellent.
I heard a lot of old, deaf, semi-exploded characters ready to get into the Midlands today, into the the low fantasy. So let's do just that. But before we get started, I'll remind you guys of a couple of things. First and foremost, as I mentioned, we're sponsored here today by Low Fantasy Gaming. So go to their website, you can check them out. You can download the book for free on Drive for RPG. We'll have a link for that down below in case you want to go and play it yourself, or just have a read through and see some of the wonderful rules at work. And of course, as per usual, we're sponsored today by fantasygrounds.com, our virtual tabletop of choice. You can download that for free on Steam or the demo version, or on their website. WhalingGames.co.uk is the go-to destination for tabletop board games, war games, and more at up to 20% off the retail value. And last but not least, you can check out DiceEnvy.com. They have a subscription box with dice that gets sent to your house every single month for as low as just $5. And you can use the coupon code EncounterRP at checkout in order to get 10% off everything on their website. So go wild, my friends. If you haven't yet retweeted this tweet, go ahead and do so. And of course, you can donate to affect the game as well by giving players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and oh so much worse. So let's kick things off today. Let's get into the groove of things and start off our first of 3 sessions here. And I just want to go around the table because we're not really doing so much of a session 0, but I do want to know a little bit more about the characters before we dive into playing, and maybe we can have a little chit-chat about how our characters know one another, if they do. So, Drake, do you mind describing to us a little bit further both what Balthazar looks like and his sort of story thus far?
Okay, Balthazar's story so far. He is your, I'd say, almost typical agent dwarf. The silver and gray hair definitely peppers through the beard as well as the ponytail on the back. He took up the way of the monk, though, because he used to be one of those, kind of adventurers in his younger days in the mining when they discover something. But after a couple cave-ins that he actually didn't do too well on, that broke up the body, it hurt him, so he went to the monastery to kind of re-heal and has left his mining ways and his normal adventuring ways. But he used to be known as Balthazar the Bold, but lately he's been told by the younger monks he's Balthazar the Old, and he's decided that he's going to go out one last time for one last adventure to prove to those whippersnappers that he's not done yet.
Awesome. Love it. So let's take Fiona and Leona. That's going to take a while for me to get right. What do you guys look like? Do you look similar as twins? And what is your story thus far?
Well, we are identical.
Good. That helps.
Yes.
Yeah, we both have brown hair,
Okay.
brown eyes.
Yeah. Leona, sister's father died. Leona who goes by Leo, went out roguing kind of to help feed the family, picking pockets, second story work, whatever she could do to make money, bring it home, keep her sister in supplies for her magic use.
Yeah, and then I kept Leo in supplies to sell, being alchemist and herbalist of sorts, going out finding reagents to make into potions to sell on the markets and the not so bright markets.
Nice.
And
Maybe a little black
And-
market con stuff they're going.
Never.
Surely not.
and that's where we met Balthazar.
Being sold
Maybe
in some cage.
That could definitely be a connection for Balthazar. It sounds like he's done a fair bit of traveling in his time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, he's from out there and far away. He's in his late 40s. Blacksmith by trade, but has a knack with the more intricate pieces. Lost his wife and his two sons to the plague fairly early on, and basically took to wandering and has made his way up into the Midlands, where he's trying unsuccessfully not to drown his sorrows whilst waiting for the Order of the Crows to grant him a license to practice.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think what we'll I'll throw you guys a sort of like hook for today's adventure, because I've been doing a little bit of prep work this afternoon while watching the previous game, and you guys can tell me whether or not you'd all like to be there together, and for what reason maybe you've come to this town. We're going to be starting adventure sort of centering it around the town of Bryndewold, which has recently been struck by a new disease called the pink scab palsy, which has struck the lakeside outpost of Bryndewold, causing severe weakness, death in the afflicted, and the main plague is yet to hit this far north, and so it's definitely something to worry about. But the Burgomaster is offering very good coin for investigators who might want to root out the cause, to cleanse the town of this illness before it gets any worse, because everyone knows that in this day and age, when there is a widespread disease, it's only a matter of time before it gets out further into the world and starts getting even worse, and then impossible to end. So right now, the town has been sort of quarantined, and so there is still a chance to save it from the affliction. For what reason might you guys be there, I guess, what I'm asking. Maybe you live there, maybe you're traveling here to try and stop the disease, and would we like to all know each other as characters? Or maybe just a couple of us know one another? Feel free to anyone take that one, Rin.
I think we have a little bit of a history as we've been traveling up northwards, in that we sort of ended up as the father with the young daughters and the uncle.
Right.
And that way, Harold has been helping out Fiona with occasional just trinkets to obscure some of the effects that have been going on when the guards have been getting a little bit too attentive.
Okay.
Given the way things are in the world today, it was safer to travel in a group. You have two young women traveling by themselves. We met up with the two older gentlemen and became a family to allow us to be able to continue traveling together without those suspicions and looks that you can get in inns and whatever.
Yeah, we haven't quite decided who the old uncle is and who the old family friend is, so that's still up for debate.
It changes.
We don't know what half elf is. It could be dwarf, it could be human. So we're still arguing that one over.
It changes depending on what we need. Yeah,
right.
It does.
It seems kind of sweet that like these two older guys have like in a slightly like fatherly fashion try to look out to you two who are more fit for travel, but you guys also appreciate that you need someone to protection, and it seems like Balthazar and Harold could certainly fend for themselves as well, so maybe that's the kind of relationship that is.
Well,
it's actually the other way around.
Getting old.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're
right.
watching out for them. We don't let them know that, but we're there for them when they need it.
Yeah.
They put my knife and fork in my dinner plate where I need it when I start to eat. So
Yeah.
We're not spoon feeding me yet, but we're close. So.
Right. No, that's not the washroom. That's the stairs. Turn back around.
Is this the quest to put Balthazar in a home? Like, is that what you guys are going to?
Well, I mean, he told us his story, and we're like, okay, old man. Yeah, all right, we'll help you out.
Amazing. So Balthazar, do you have a reason to be in Bryndewold? Do you have old family here? Are you just trying to get this last adventure in, and it seems like it's the place to go, or what's the deal there? Do you think?
Yeah, because he wandered out, and it was one of those where you just kind of the youngsters picked on me enough that it was done with the arguing. I was just going to go out. Didn't really have a plan when I put one foot in front of the other. So I've heard about this town. I've heard about the plague. So I figure it's not that dangerous sounding, like chasing the cave trolls before, like I used to try. So we'll just try to solve this one, and I can come back and say I saved a village, and go back to tending the goats in the farmland and all that. Hopefully.
Okay. And everyone sort of agreed to this because it seems like Balthazar's got his mind set on it and wants to give him. I guess you guys are happy to let him have the impression that he's helping you out when in reality you guys feel like you're looking out for him. So cool. I really like that. So let's start off the adventure then, having figured out how you guys work together. You've heard of the Pink Scab Palsy, which is struck the lakeside outpost of Bryndewold, and we'll have you guys arriving just outside of Bryndewold, getting a good look at the town at this point. So the background on the town as you guys have been traveling northwards towards it. It's a long-standing mining and fishing outpost along the shores of Lake Argos. And it's protected from most threats by the towering cliffs and treacherous waters. But about 4 months ago is when a number of residents contracted the pink scab palsy and began to become very sick and then slowly begin to die. Despite compulsory quarantining, cleansing by fire, and the apothecaries trying to do their best works, often donning their contagion masks, the disease somehow continues to spread, corrupting inhabitants at an increasing rate. The leader of the town, Burgomaster Shand, is growing desperate, and he's offered as much as 400 gold crowns to anyone who can solve this mystery and rid the outpost of contamination, which, for reference, is probably more gold than you may ever see in your life. It's a king's hoard. So that's where we find yourselves, just sort of on the hill, looking down at the. I guess it looks a little bit like Lake Town from those terrible movies that we don't speak of. But in essence, is this long sort of lake bed and the buildings which are raised just above the waters, almost on stilts, to avoid falling down into the waters. Huge cliffs on either side protecting it, and today, it's icy cold, but the sun is still bright. It's just beginning to get into that eternal pattern of melting away ice, and then it snows again, and then it melts away the ice, and so on and so forth. So you guys see that there's obviously a quarantine in place. The outskirts of the town are surrounded by the wall, and it looks like there are guards turning away folks. What would you guys like to do? We'll kick you guys off just in front of the town. Feel free to have a conversation before you go in, or just stride right up.
I wonder if they will accept our request to go and see the Meister about finding the source of their scourge.
Well, it looks like they're pretty desperate, I imagine. That they're willing to take any help if he's putting out that kind of money.
Why do we need to ask? Let's just walk through. Come on, let's go.
How competent do these guards look? I mean, are they paying a lot of attention to everybody, or are they just kind of, go away, go away? The ones that go through for whatever reason, how much of a once over or examination are they giving him?
Yeah, you stand back and you watch the guards for a little while and observe their behavior, and they definitely don't seem to be just letting anyone in. From the few folk that they do that in, they seem to have some kind of paperwork that they take a look at, and they seem to approve of that. It could be like a clean bill of health from a doctor, or it could be just that they are someone important. But either way, they seem to be turning back people, particularly people who look like they're ill. I mean, you can see people who are coming into the town that look like they've probably got one sickness or another. I mean, it's basically medieval times. Most people look kind of sick. Yeah, they seem attentive.
Anyone in our area that has those paperwork heading towards the city that we see already carrying it out, or are they pulling it out when they get there?
Yeah, you can spot this noble-ish type, I suppose, and he's got a couple of cohorts with him. They look like lackeys, and he's proudly got a piece of paper which he's striding out towards the guards with, but hasn't yet reached them. But I'll also say that if you wanted to avoid the guards as well, they're definitely not all around the walls. So you could definitely sneak in, or attempt to at least, especially if it was darker. But it's not like there's no security cameras, right? This is like just basically a bunch of people looking around, so getting into places is a whole lot easier. And I've never been charged, so.
I mean, we could just, Leo looks at her sister and says, "You are a magic user, you do make potions. I mean, I have to imagine that they would welcome somebody with your skills. Harold, create items that I'm sure that they would find useful in keeping people quarantined.
Yeah, no, I've got something in my bag here that bandages and stuff that could do some medical work.
Yeah, I've got a bit of an experience as an apothecary, so we can pose as healers if we need to get past them.
Well, Mother wouldn't let you travel alone, so of course I came with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a given. Just make sure you put your blades away.
Well, we might have to cut off a few parts here and there.
tucked away safely.
Apothecaries and healers. Yes, that does sound good. He says, and just casually dusting off his rather well-worn and burnt through, in some cases, leathers.
Yeah, purity by fire there. Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, you need somebody to burn down the infected buildings and.
Yeah, so we're cures and demolitions. I like how that sounds.
We are your one-stop shop.
Indeed.
How far are we from the gates?
As far away as you guys want to be, really. You've been like doing a slow approach, so you can be far enough away that you're not gonna. No one's gonna have overheard you speaking about how you're gonna blow up the city. But close enough for that. We can just get you there.
Leo goes
Let's
up to
follow
Harold.
the noble and see if we can just walk in with his crew.
Yeah. And Leo goes to both Balthazar and Harold, and she's like pinching their cheeks, trying to make them nice and pink, and
Get
giving
rid of
them,
that
making sure that
jaundice
get rid of that pale kind of, get a little pink and blood flow into their cheeks, and
Yeah, kid, knock it off. Yeah, out the beard.
you want to look sick. You don't want to look sick.
Nah, I don't look sick. I look as good as I did years ago.
Which one am I?
The other
Yeah.
I
one.
usually
I
put
thought-
stickers on them to tell the difference. Can I roll to see which one's which?
Yeah, absolutely, you may.
All right.
We
Let's
also
see,
are known
let's
to
get
switch
listed.
those.
I like that.
I got a 6, so
Your Leo?
You'll get there, old man.
immediately starts
Puts
looking at the
normal.
ground for flowers to give them to tell them the difference of colors.
It's always a coin toss. That's the thing with Balthazar. He's about half the time he's right. So that works out. So you guys stride up towards the gates, and you see this noble who's introduced himself as Sir Archibald. Please let me through, good sir, as I'm here on official business. And the guards take one look at his papers. Yeah, very, very good, sir. Is these two with
We're
you?
kind of crowding up with
Yes.
his group. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he looks over his shoulder and raises an eyebrow, and this young man who's probably just reaching his 30s, but he's got a refined look of someone who hasn't lived a very hard life whatsoever, and the sort of robes on that speak to some wealth. These lots I have never met before, however.
Never met before. Really? This after I just paid for your drinks at the last tavern. Whatever.
I do not frequent taverns, good sir. I'm quite sure I've never had any dealings with a dwarf. I think you should deal with these ones separately, officers. The guards look between the two of you.
After this, after making sure that you were cared for as a child, leaving us out in the cold, I tell you, you get yourselves a title, you get yourself some wealth, and you think you're all that. I should have dropped you on your head when your dad dropped you 6 times before that.
He raises both eyebrows. Now, I'm quite sure we've never met before, but how very dare you disgrace my father's name?
Oh, you were disgraced trying to
disgraced your
disgrace my
father's
sister
name.
the other day.
He and the two lackeys with him in turn draw breath quickly. Good sir, how dare you? Take it back.
Oh,
at
God.
once.
How dare you? You asked her to be your personal apothecary.
That's what he called it? Sounded like something else.
You should have seen
He
the
looks-
coin he was wagging around. Look,
Perhaps I did have one too many glasses of wine the other night. Apothecary, did you say?
yes. It's a lot of coin you were waving around for my sister.
Just kind of randomly, I turn to Leo and ask her a little bit louder than what should be asked. Do you think those two are with him, or do you think those two are with him?
Oh. Maybe
Well, I
that's
don't know,
why
dear
you don't
sister.
want
It's been a few days since he approached us. He hasn't approached you.
No, that is true. Can't see why not. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just an idle
Well, I
thought.
don't know. In this town, perhaps.
If I were you, I would watch your tongue. But if you are an apothecary, what kind of tinctures and potions can you make?
What kind
Are
of
you here for
tinctures and
the-
potions do you want? Do you
Well,
want one to help that receding hairline? Or put a little bit of color back in your cheeks? You're starting to look a little ragged around the edges. I could do something for you.
Well, my current hairdressing team are elsewhere.
Perhaps
been
it's
able
his
to-
flagging manhood.
Yeah.
I've got something for that as well.
If you're not interested in my business, then I'm not interested in dealing with such insults against my fine name. I say
I'm
good
not
day
trying
to
to
you.
insult you.
He coyly looks up.
No, I'm not trying to insult you at all. I'm just trying to prove to you the quality of the wares that I have and the services that I can provide.
Well, I see. That may very well be the case.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
don't
have
want her to
anything-
give you the wrong potion.
Do you have anything for this, the palsy that's been here in the town? I heard it's rather, voracious in nature, and apothecaries have been called for. If you had something that could perhaps spare me from such a horrible disease, maybe I could, see to finding some coin in those awful pockets of yours, and letting you into the city.
How did you
Seems
know the
like you
stress has
want in.
pockets?
Oh, I know those. I know that tailoring anywhere. I have one myself.
A dress with pockets? Aren't they awesome?
Agreed, and much needed. But moreover,
I
as
agree.
is a cure to this plague, so
At
Anything
this
on that
point in
front?
time, I haven't been able to get close enough to study anything. That's why we're here.
oh, that is disappointing, but
So-
understandable, I suppose.
If we can get closer, we can try and get something figured out to see what will work. Because honestly, I would rather get this done sooner than later. It's starting to smell and it's kind of gross.
Oh, I thought that was just your dwarven companion. Yes, very well. How
I
about
try and
this?
tell him to wash regularly, but he doesn't listen that well.
Right.
A good
Have you taken a
chemical
bath,
will see him
dwarf?
fine.
Speak up,
Excellent.
Harold.
It's a lost cause. How about this? I let you into the city here with my good companions, the guards. And in turn, when you find anything on this plague, you stop by the Archibald Mansion and pay me a visit. In addition, any other services you might provide that I could find useful, I have good coin for such things. Bryndewold has its own troubles, which occasionally needs seeing to by rough and rugged individuals like yourselves, so that my fine hands need not be sullied with the dirt.
How attentive are his two lackeys to what's going on?
They're definitely paying attention. They seem a little jealous of the idea that someone might be, a group of you might be, yeah.
A little distracted?
Sure, yeah. Whispering amongst themselves.
Yeah, I think maybe that we should lighten their coin purse just a little.
Oh, that sounds like a skill check here for sleight of hand, which is dex-based.
Yep. So I have a +4 modifier, and I get a +1 because it's a trained skill for Leo.
Yes, that's right.
So that would be a
Oh,
23.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's you. We're gonna slip both coin purses of both attendants here, as you, just sidle up alongside them while they're not really paying too much attention, and cut a string, and the sack of coin slips into your hand, and it's got a good weight to it. Meanwhile, this fellow, the Archibald gentleman, Sir Archibald, has said, so what say you then? Does that sound like a fair enough exchange of goods and services to you?
I believe that is reasonable.
Very well. Then, guards, let these group of friends into the city. You have my word that you can trust them, and they'll be stopping by the Archibald Mansion in order to. I'll check in on them. All right. And the guards nod their heads. Very good, sir. And the big gates to Bryndewold swing open. Sir Archibald looks to the group of you again and says, I trust that you'll pay me a visit at my mansion shortly, and we can discuss more business. In the meantime, if you're looking for a cure to the plague, it may be a good idea to speak with the local apothecary, Benici. I hear he's very good.
Oh yes, that sounds like a plan.
Very well. Well, good day to you then. And he doffs his cap, and the two attendants, still unaware that they're missing their coin purses, skulk away. Leaving you guys with a city before you, and the guards sort of shut the gates behind you, and the kind of the smell of corruption and death is pretty heavy here in Bryndewold. It's been months now since it's set in, and sickness is clearly rife within the city walls at this point. So, what would you guys like to do?
Is it late enough that we should be thinking of heading for the nearest inn, or the best, the only, I don't know, inn, or is it
Right, yeah.
Essentially head for the Burgermeister?
Yeah, it's around midday, so you've got plenty of time. But you could if you wanted to, you could, secure lodgings before you headed out around the town. It's definitely big enough that it has several popular inns and some smaller sort of taverns around the place as well. So there's plenty of places to stop off there. The Burgomaster's offices are in the center of town, and you can spot the large tower as you head into the city.
Once we get a little further, go ahead.
Yeah, we should maybe go and speak with the Burgermeister earlier rather than later. He might be able to ease our costs.
Once we get a little bit further into town and it's away from the gates, not as many people clustered around like that, I think the Duke has already done a fair bit towards easing our costs, and I kind of bounced the coin pouches in my hand before putting them back away.
Yeah, that was pretty slick. How much did you think you got?
It just kind of judging by the weight of the pouches, how much do I think I have?
Oh, at least 20 coin, 20 gold pieces here, yeah.
Oh, a good 20 gold.
Nice,
So
good job.
Definitely. Buy us clean rooms, good food.
Some baths. This place is gross.
Yes. Definitely. So do we see the Burgermeister first then?
I'd say so.
I think that's a reasonable plan. After
And so
all,
you guys head off to the... Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it'll be easier to find him than a good inn, I suspect.
It's true. I mean, looking
Okay.
around this place, it looks pretty squat-like and desolate.
I can't imagine they're seeing a lot of custom here, though. Not many
Yeah, no, I was
travelers coming.
Thinking that finding a room first would be good, but when you put it like that, getting a room and dropping your stuff off now might not be the smartest idea. You said we see the tower clearly. We know generally
For
where
sure.
to head off to.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to head off that way, it won't take you long to get there. The only problem that you find is when you reach the tower that there is a long line of petitioners and peasants who seem to be waiting patiently in line for to speak with a burgomaster. It looks like people have probably been waiting here for a couple of hours, probably since dawn. And so there's a long queue, maybe there's 100 peasants who are lined up, all petitioning for something or other. That's a little problem you encounter when you get to the burgomasters. It looks pretty damn busy.
Do they look healthy?
The people do not look particularly healthy, no. You see that on many of them there are sort of scabs and warts which are beginning to show on them. Some of them are just coughing and spluttering. Others have covered their mouths and faces with pieces of cloth to prevent themselves from catching too much more contagion. But overall, no. People here do not look like they are happy or healthy at all.
Leona's already taken out a scarf and kind of wrapped it around the lower half of her face. And she's going to see if... Does it look like there's anybody monitoring the line, or can you see the front of the line?
You can see the front of the line. There are guards who are sort of seem to be controlling it somewhat, in that they're letting people in one by one or in small groups. But no one is monitoring the line as such.
I'm going to go
Someone could
up to
probably
one of the
watch it.
guards at the head of the line and go, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
We just arrived as a part of the retinue for Lord Archibald. My sister's an apothecary. We have several other healers within our group. We've come about the offer from the Burgermeister.
You can roll me a persuasion check, which is charisma based.
Okay.
See if you can win over our buddy here.
Charisma's not that great, but I am trained in it. So let's see.
Yeah, it allows for rerolls.
Yeah, that's a 5. But yeah, I can do a reroll, correct?
Yeah, from your... Yes, you have your reroll pool.
Okay. Oops, no, it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be like this.
That's a little bit better. Yeah, you're looking for a 10 here. He's pretty desperate for people to help, and he kind of nods at you. Is like, "Oh, good. That's very good. You know what? Let's you guys can come right through. You and the apothecaries. We need your help."
So when did this start creeping up?
You're old.
Yeah, he's, go ahead.
Okay. I motion for them to join us, and I say, "Okay, we're in. We can go see the burgomaster about the job, about the work."
Yeah,
Good work.
their guard is like 3 or 4 months since everything started.
All right. So we go on in.
Okay, you head inside, and at a table and desk upon which seem to be poured all sorts of medical diagrams and alchemical formulas is the rather rotund Burgomaster Shand. He looks up at you from a sort of greasy-looking beard. "Oh, come in. Who might you be? What can I do for you?"
I'm Master Green and my traveling companions. We understand that you are looking for assistance in fighting the dire red scab scourges.
Well, quite. We've been searching high and low, as you can see here, and I have many of the best ideas from my apothecary, Benici. Nothing seems to really be working now. We're just trying to contain the plague before it gets outside of the walls of Bryndewold. But there is a handsome reward for anyone who can find the source of the contagion, and perhaps find a cure for it as well.
Well, we have had... Oh, please.
Who came
Are
down
we
with it
alone with
first?
Yeah, I mean, there are sort of guards stationed outside that would hear any commotion, but no one else. What was your question, Balthazar?
Who do you know came down with it first?
I don't know. I think some commoners on the wharf, maybe. It's tough to say. There have been so many since then. It's...
So it could have been brought in by ship.
Perhaps. I am no physician or doctor. All I understand of these things is that they just don't stop. It starts with scabs, it just gets worse until the person eventually dies an awful death. Hundreds of people dying every week here. I'm at my wit's end. I was rather hoping you might be able to tell me.
I kind of walk up to him, put my hand on his forehead, and I'll look him closely, like get right into his personal space, and ask him how he's currently feeling. If he's feeling any of the symptoms, or...
No, I feel fine. Benici comes every day to check me. As of yet, untouched.
Sister,
Interesting.
that was the apothecary that Lord Archibald mentioned that you should go see, as you're
Yes,
also
yes.
an apothecary.
Yes.
Perhaps the two of you can put your minds together and come up with something, because Benici's at the end of his tether as well, I'm afraid. It's been months and he's not been able to come up with anything. We've had several apothecaries consult with us, but none of them have been able to help altogether too much, I'm afraid. They tell us to keep everyone clean and that everyone needs to keep their sheets clean, not to cough and splutter on one another and stay away from potentially infected areas, but that's a difficult thing to do in a city like this. People
Yes,
don't always
yes, that
listen.
all makes sense. I mean, not all those apothecaries are me, so that could be a reason why this is still going on.
Are you highly trained?
I know a little thing or two about a thing or two.
That doesn't sound...
She certainly has
like
a
a yes.
unique knowledge.
Well,
Yeah, we've been
at this
going around
point,
the countryside and we're untouched.
At this point, I'm willing to try anything, so if you advise Benici on something and you agree on it, then perhaps we can move forward to some kind of cure. You'll at least have some places for you to go and search around for something, I suppose.
That shall work. And we've been told that there's a bit of a monetary compensation for this.
Yes, 400 gold crowns to the individual or group who managed to solve this disaster for us.
That's a good start.
Well, aside from that, places you might want to look, Benici said that could come from animals as well, so the stables might be somewhere to look at the marketplace where all of the fish and food comes into the town, and then of course the sewers. He tells me that exposure to filth and foul odors can cause disease as well.
All good places, I think.
I can definitely take a look at some of those places while you meet with Benici.
Well, I'll
Where can we
leave you
find this
all to it
Benici?
then. This is anything else?
Where can we find him?
Oh, Benici, the apothecary hospital is not far from here. Go down the road, at the end of it, take a right, and you won't be able to miss it. There'll be people crowded up outside.
Thank you, Burgermeister.
Thank you. And he sort of lets you walk out the door and back into the town proper. Sounded like there was some splitting of the party was about to happen, which I always like in an episode 1.
Harold will probably go with Fi, partially because a young woman shouldn't be out walking alone, and also he's got a smattering of apothecary, but from a more sort of alchemical / explosive viewpoint.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, he's definitely looking around going, very wet timbers, this place just wouldn't burn, we can't cleanse it.
Yeah, enough whiskey and wine, anything will burn, but Harold.
Yeah, that's why we don't let you get too close to flames.
I don't know. I kind of feel like this came in on a ship and we ought to go check with the Port Authority and see what they've got to say. What do you think, Galeo? You up for a trip?
I think you're muted, Leona.
Yep, sorry about that. Yeah, look, I think we could do that. We'll go take a look around down there. Maybe check out
Okay.
the markets a little bit, see what's going on there.
Okay, so Balthazar's going to reach up, grab Fi's hand, and start walking towards the port.
Nice.
I'm
Okay.
going to go over to Balthazar and very carefully pull out my sister's hand and slip mine into his.
Oh, what's wrong? Too big of a grip for you? I understand. I gotcha.
Thank you.
I'll stop
it's
and
in
as
you.
they start, as they start walking away, I'll call after them for Leo to find me something pretty at the marketplace, and then turn around and start heading towards the the hospital there with Harold.
Alrighty then. So, we'll start with Fiona and Harold then. So the two of you head off to Benici's apothecary station, and it is basically a long house of wood, which loads of people are crowded up. Inside, you can see people coughing and spluttering, and the sounds of people dying inside, while people still try to kind of fight their way in to get medical treatment before everyone else. And you can kind of like bustle your way through the crowd as apothecaries, and the crowd will part if you tell them that you're an apothecary, and praise you and thank you for your help, and also entreat you to help them. And as you get inside, you see who must be Benici, who is the short and stock man who looks like he has aged about 10 years, probably in the past 3 or 4 months. He looks very haggard and tired, like he hasn't slept in weeks. And his hair is thinning and graying, and he wears the sort of apothecary's uniform, which is sort of covered in stains and blood at this point, and he wears heavy-duty gloves to prevent himself from touching the untouched skin of anyone else. And look up. If you're not here to help, then I'm afraid I can't deal with any other patients today. Yet, please get back in line.
No need for that. I am here to help.
Oh, praise the Emperor. I would shake your hand, but I don't want to spread any infection. My name is Benici. I'm the apothecary here. Who might the two of you be?
My name is Fiona, and this is my companion, Harold. We've been sent here sent here by the Burgermeister to give you a hand if we can.
Good. Apothecaries then. Let's speak in my office somewhere, a bit cleaner. And he leads you into his sort of back room of the office, which it is an office and a bedroom in one. It's this tiny little cramped space with potions all over it, stacked high, almost up to the ceiling, and a tiny little bed cramped into the corner, and a small little desk fit plush with that. And I would offer you a seat, but as you can see, things in here have gotten a little out of hand. Apothecaries, you say? Perhaps we can compare notes or
Indeed.
something. How can I help you?
I don't normally take notes. I tend to keep everything up here. Notes just get in the way. They get lost and corrupted and...
Right. I see. How unusual. But I suppose this case in itself is unusual. The palsy is unlike anything I've seen before, and I've practiced medicine for, close to 20 years now. So, is there anything you need from me? Anything to help the Burgomaster?
Where did the first cases of this arise?
Well, it's difficult to say precisely where it all arose from. It seemed to strike at once from several locations. It was the lower and poorer districts of the city which were first affected, those close to the mines and the wharf and one of the main sewer entrances, I suppose. No place in particular that struck out, else I would have looked into it myself. You understand, we've been trying to crack our heads about this one for a few months now, but my resources are limited, so I haven't exactly been able to get down to all of these locations myself to investigate.
Was there any rumors of any odd situations before the first cases started to arise? Anything anything happen on the ships? An influx of rats?
Not that I remember, no. In all honesty, it's doubtful to me that this source of infection could have come in through anywhere else. If that were the case, somewhere else would have been infected first, and then we would have caught it from there. It seems unlikely. The other towns that we deal with along the river have as of yet been unaffected, so it seems to me as though the infection has started here within the city walls. It may have spread outside of that, I suppose, but no other cases yet.
Any cases of unusual ill health in livestock? Or is it...
Well, the livestock have been affected. If you were to travel down to the stables, you would see that the horses there are dying off as easily as the elderly humans here in the town. It seems to affect both livestock and humans.
Is there anything that you've done so far to help ease the suffering of these people first?
I've been here for 4 months, yes, of course I have. I've given them remedies and tinctures to help with the swelling and the scabs, cleaned thousands of dirty wounds, given them the best advice that I can, all of the herbs, medicines, and tinctures I can possibly come up with to try and slow down the disease. It's the best I've been able to do, and I have managed that. The pink scab itself, I have managed to slow down to the point where it doesn't kill someone within a matter of days. Now it takes a matter of weeks to end someone's life. So there is that at least. But as for where it comes from and a cure for it, I believe it is still being propagated here in the city.
How virulent a propagation are we dealing with? Is it 1 in 10, 1 in 2?
Well, at first it was a 1 in 100, and as things have continued, it has risen to about a 1 in 10 at this point. I believe in the next few weeks we'll be looking closer to a 1 in 5 inhabitants. Now, this is unusual rates of increase. Studies on various different infections and plagues, which I can show you here on these books if you care to read them, will show you that the rate of infection is far higher than anything else, which, with all of my administrations, the cures, the tinctures, advice I've given everyone to keep themselves clean and avoid areas of contamination, well, the rate's far higher than it should be, is what I'm saying. Which leads me to believe that either this pink scab palsy is unlike anything we've seen before and far more virulent for some reason. Perhaps it's being born in a different manner than other diseases. Or something or someone is causing it to spread much quicker than it ought to.
And Harold is just going to somewhat surreptitiously just wiggle his fingers at Fi.
A surreptitious finger wiggle.
Is there any history of ancient or old catacombs or caves or storerooms or anything like that?
Water, so not so much caves, but the mines, of course, which are just on the side of the mountains. They lead into caves, I'm sure. That's the closest thing I can think of. The only system underneath the city itself are the sewer systems. They run underneath the entire city of Bryndewold, whereas the mines are just outside of it along the mountain range.
And are they active or abandoned?
The sewers?
Oh, the mines, sorry.
Oh, the mines. Oh, very active. Most of the wealth of Bryndewold comes from both the mining and fishing communities. I think they would have known if there was something out there, but I can't say for sure. The sewers, less so. There are sewer jacks, of course, who go down there occasionally to check that everything's running, I suppose, but it's far less populated than the mines.
I don't think it's going to be the mines. But the sewers might be something for us to check out.
That's true. I mean, foul odors can spread diseases with them. It's not uncommon, I suppose, or too bizarre to believe that sewers could hold with them an infection, but how it's spreading them, I'm not sure.
Maybe that will be our first place to go and check out once we meet back up with Leona and Balthazar.
That could be. That sounds... It's at least a plan.
Yeah, because here we can't really do much except for ease the suffering of people that are here already.
Well,
Indeed,
yes,
and they seem in good pants.
Thank you. I have that under control, I think, for now. So if I work here and you work elsewhere, perhaps our combined forces can come to some kind of a head.
I think that sounds reasonable.
Very good.
Thank you for the information. Much appreciated.
Of course. Well, best of luck to you, my friends. And if you need anything else, you know where to find me. And so, yeah, two of you head back out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to head right out the door of the apothecarium. I'm just going through the skill list right now with my arcane lore.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a bit of a magical plague, I should be able to sense something on the victims, I think, wouldn't I?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially you could. You could definitely give it a roll if you want to try.
Okay, so that's based upon a d20. And this would use my intelligence modifier, which in this case is plus 2.
Yes.
19.
Yeah. So you get a sense that this is not a magical plague. You don't sense anything on them which is particularly untoward in that sense. You don't get a vibe of them, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. So I guess it's like the equivalent of doing a sort of detect magic and sort of nothing comes back on the ping.
Yeah. Alright, I guess we didn't really talk about any kind of meetup place after we're done our own deal, so I'm going to lead Harold, if Harold is willing to be led, over to the market district in hopes of running into Leona and Balthazar. Because the sewers aren't anywhere I would like to go near without Leo.
Okay. Okay,
Or
so let's
indeed
go back
Balthazar.
over... Yeah. So let's go back over to Leo and Balthazar then. Where are the two of you guys headed once you leave the Burgomaster's house?
I wanted to head out to the docks to talk to the Port Authority and see if anything had come on, or anyone had come off the ships scratching or coughing or wheezing, or if they'd had a rat infestation on one of the ships that they didn't realize until it docked.
Yeah, okay.
And while he was doing that, Leo would be sneaking around,
Okay.
checking out the ships and things. Yeah.
So yeah, you have a sneaking around while you go and talk with the Port Authority, and the Harbour Master will speak with Balthazar after a little while of trying to find the right person to speak to. And he's this short little guy who's smells abundantly of fish. Abundant is definitely the words to describe that level of fish smell. Yes, can I help you, young man?
Yeah, young, yeah. I like you have the same obvious good taste I do. You smell nice too. So
Likewise.
yeah. So I was at one of the big houses over there, and they're talking about this pink skirt palsy, and I was wondering if you happen to notice anyone coming off the ship rather itchy or scratchy, and maybe a little sickly that shouldn't have been coming into the port.
Yeah, and he's like scratching a lot during the whole time that you're talking to him, primarily on his face, and you can see these sort of little pink scabs coming up on his skin. Maybe rats aren't uncommon around here. You understand? Kind of everywhere. Part of my job as a harbour master is to make sure there aren't too many rats, but not no rats. There should always be some rats.
Well, you bring up a point there. There should always be some rats. Any ships come on with no rats? At least none that scurried off.
I don't think so. I can't say that I check them all, though. Sometimes I get busy and I have some drinks, and then the whole day's gone by, and then suddenly here I am. But certainly a bit more rats around here recently than usual, but they're not coming off the boats. They just seem to be around everywhere, coming up from below, maybe, wherever rats live.
Well, I got a question. You're seeming a little itchy there. You been to see any of the medical help here lately?
I don't need no medical help. No, I'll be fine. I always have been fine.
Okay.
Never caught a plague in my life.
Of course not. Probably on your diet and meals. But out of curiosity, what ships or places you been to visit lately?
Oh, there's that one there. That one there. That one there.
Any of them strike you as interesting? Anything stick out?
No, they're just ships.
Okay.
I see a lot of them. I don't. Once you've seen one, you feel like you've seen them all, and I've seen like hundreds of ships, and they all kind of look the same to me. What do you mean, interested?
Well, I just was meaning maybe, the people getting off it were a little sick or anything like that, or they gone right to the infirmary, or...
Nothing like that. The guards make sure that no one that goes out is too sick so they don't spread it. And then they make sure that no one who comes in is sick. They send them back, so... It's a tight ship that we run around here.
Now, out of curiosity, would the guards be cutting him off from going back into the city or not?
Doesn't look like it.
All right, well, thank you for your time, and
I'm gonna go scurry off and try to find Leo.
Okay. Where would he find Leo?
Leo's been just kind of moving, checking out the ships that are in port, trying to listen to see, who's still coming in, because this is the quarantine town now. What are they letting ships in? Are people grumbling about ships not being allowed out? Are the crews that aren't from here, are they getting sick? How is that being handled? How's that looking?
Yeah, there are far less ships, you get the sense. going in and out than there certainly were. There are plenty of port authorities who seem to be, and guards, who seem to be stopping people from going in and out on ships. There are some ships which are going in and out. They seem to be the ones with like healthy crews who have been given a clean bill of health by Goodman Benici, the apothecary. There's definitely some rumbles of disquiet about the fact that they can't go out and work because if they don't look like they're really healthy, even if they only have like the first signs of the plague, then they're not allowed to get out of here. But no one's saying anything too suspicious in terms of yes, remember that time we went and got the plague and then came back here to the city.
Why make it easy on us?
It seems like fairly grumbly sailor talk, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Okay, so there aren't too many sailors that are trying to think of the word that I'm looking for.
Infected?
Infected, yeah, especially the ones that are not from here, the ones that are just coming into port, the newest ships. Are those sailors still going out into town, or are they all just kind of, we're going to unload our stuff, we're going to load our stuff back up, and we're out of here?
It seems like most of the people that trade here probably live here. So once they finish doing their unloading, they're going back to their homes. So it's definitely a source of, potential source of concern when it comes to, it's not really a quarantine while people are still going in and out, right?
Right. Right.
It's like a quarantine, but we still want to make money and have to live. So the city needs some kind of
trade. Yep. Do the majority of the sailors look healthy or sick?
Why don't you make a perception check?
Okay. Let's see. I have detection. Is that the same thing?
Yes. Yeah. It's let's see.
Okay.
It's detection. Yes. It's too many games. Too many different ways of saying something.
Yep. Let me see what that is real quick. I'll find that.
There should just be one conversion, which is the thing that makes you see. Your eye check. Yes.
Okay. So there is a perception skill as well. Okay, got it. A stat.
Yeah, perception is a skill, and
yep.
Thingy is the attribute.
Well, it would be really nice if the dice stayed in the box. Okay, come on, dice. Let's do this.
Can't be controlled. The dice do as they please. There you go.
That's a 10.
Yeah, so it's difficult to know because the scabs aren't always on people's like faces. That's like later stage, so they could be hiding them with clothing, and you only start to get like the hacking coughs and throwing up sort of blood towards the end when death is close. So it's difficult to say. There aren't people here that look like they have like that late stage palsy, but it's also something which is not easy to spot unless you have someone to like really inspect.
Right. Now, I wasn't there. I didn't hear him mention that there were more rats, but do I happen to notice as I'm moving around on the docks that there are more rats than one would expect?
Yeah, I think on a 10, you'd see that the rats here are particularly big, and there are quite a few of them around.
Are the rats acting odd? The rats look ill. I mean, do they look like
yeah, you could roll me another detection check on that actually to try and get close enough to a rat to have a rat's tat.
Okay, dice.
Which is a tete-a-tete with rats. I was proud of that.
For some reason, the dice are giving me. There we go. That's a 14.
So the rats aren't acting weird. They're not looking at each other like, we're gonna kill everyone.
Yeah.
Although actually, rats do look that way all the time. So who am I kidding? Like rats always look like they're up to some shit. Like rats are always on their bullshit.
Those ratty
no
little
matter
eyes.
what the situation. Yeah, it's like even if they're just like someone's pet, you're like, hang on. he's got the plague. But they do carry the scabs on their little bodies,
Okay.
and so they look almost like bright pink, some of them, and almost swollen with the disease. And they're like scratching at themselves, and there's like pus coming out the wounds, and it's quite gross.
Yeah. She's definitely keeping that scarf up and, doing her best not to touch anything or brush up anything, and she's going to burn these clothes.
Burn it all. Burn the docks. Burn the water.
Yeah. So I will, once I see Balthazar kind of wandering around looking lost, I'll go find him. And say,
He's just wandering
All right.
around somewhat aimlessly.
come on, Uncle. Let's go. Let's go find my sister.
All right, so I talked to the Port Authority guy. He said he hasn't seen anything funny, but he's sitting there scratching his face, and he's looking like he maybe only got a couple days.
Well, it's definitely the rats, because the rats are sick. The rats are swollen. They've got the scabs. So it wouldn't surprise me if the rats picked up the infection from somewhere and brought it into town.
Well, but he said that he hasn't seen any come off of a ship infected. So
Then they came up from the sewers. So it looks like we're gonna go. I gotta burn these clothes anyways.
I think, honestly, the rats caught it from the humans.
Really?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, they are human.
Tend to be more vermin than vermin.
I know. They spring up everywhere.
We'll go looking for Fi and Harold. See if we can find them.
Yeah, you guys will find them after a while. You guys head down to the docks to find them, and you guys are coming out of the docks by the time that you meet one another just outside of the docks. And you spot the two of them going over. It's like identical twin.
Yeah.
Like one shot is identical twin and old human, and the other shot is identical twin and old dwarf, like stumbling together towards a conclusion. Yeah.
The mirror
People
image
can't quite-
merge.
Yeah.
What?
We do just like a Star Wars wipe into one another, and then yeah, that's. You guys meet up.
Yeah. So let's go find an inn, someplace to stay, someplace away from
Okay.
the docks.
Yeah, I think it's that time of the day now.
Yep. The afternoon,
This-
evening. You guys want to put
This
your shit
backpack's
down?
getting heavy.
So yeah, you guys can find. So you got like 3 rankings of types of inn that you can stay at here in Bryndewold. You've got absolutely awful, which is basically just like a plague house that you can sleep in. It's more like a common room with a floor that you can sleep on. Then there's like it's adequate. The bed sheets probably aren't the cleanest, and the patrons may not be the healthiest, but overall it's a whole lot cleaner than some of the other ones. And then you've got like top of the line, like hyperinflation, really good quality, but they are charging you like an arm and a leg to stay a night in a really good place because they know that they've got a really good place, and some people are going to be willing to pay that top dollar to stay in them. So
And we do have Archibald's money to spend.
you do have it would probably cost you that 20 gold to stay here for a night out, actually.
I mean, we always could go find an actual arm and a leg.
That's true. That's also about the same price.
In this town, it's probably not that difficult to do. I'm sure people would sell somebody arm and a leg for you.
If we do manage to get at least some idea what's going on, we could always go and ask Archibald if he's got a spare room.
Well, do we want to do that in the morning? Because I think it's the rats, and she'll tell him what she saw down at the docks and kind of what they've put together so far.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. We're hearing the same thing from the apothecary ourselves, that the rats were... Well, the rats could be one of the issues, or the sewers at the very least.
Yeah. We could go see if he'll put us up for the night, given that we have some information. Or we can get a place here in the hotel.
I think we should stay away tonight, but maybe if we go and see if we can maybe, I don't know, find a rat's nest tomorrow and see if that gives us any further clues. I'm just thinking if we go to Archibald, we can say we think we've got it sold. We've just got to keep you clear of rats for the next week whilst we burn down the village.
Set fire to the sewers, all the sewer gas.
Start with the tavern.
Those do go up quick. Well, let's go ahead and get in the inn. Get a room at the inn then. Or get rooms at the inn, so we'll do that.
Okay,
Leo,
sure thing. You guys get some rooms. Put your crab down.
Leo wants a bath and to burn these clothes.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. You can get a fresh set of clothes, and you guys can, I guess if you're willing to spend a sort of evening here, you can settle down and get some food as well that you hear at least is from a safe source and not rat meat. Do you guys want to do anything in the evening/night, or are you going to wait it out until the morning?
How busy does this place look? Again, considering it's under quarantine and this is top tier.
It is pretty much just like a few people here, so it's not very busy at all. Pretty damn quiet. I mean, probably the people that could afford to be in a place like this already have a mansion, right, and aren't coming to Bryndewold. So even just a couple of patrons at the rate they're charging is enough to keep the couple who run this tavern in business, and probably then some.
Well, Leo will probably spend a little bit of time down in the tavern part, maybe kind of nursing an inexpensive ale, depending on how much the rooms cost them out of that 20 gold.
Yeah, you can have a drink.
Just kind of trying to listen in on to what's the staff talking about, what are the patrons talking about, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about everyone else?
I'll be down with her as well, getting some food, having a drink or whatever.
Okay. And as for our elderly companions,
Oh yeah, and they're having a drink.
Okay, cool. So you guys spend the evening / night sort of down in the tavern room, and there's not a lot of chatter going on, but the chatter that you do over here is all about the plague, about whether or not there will be a cure for it. People are starting to get desperate to find any kind of cure. They already have the sort of potions that Benici has been giving out, but you hear kind of whispers from the staff that they're running out and that they need some more. In fact, why don't you guys as a group you can all roll me a detection check here, which is based on your perception.
So I actually have that skill. Oh, I forgot to add my thing. I got 17.
That's okay. 17's pretty good. Just doing sort of a collective check. So everyone rolled?
13.
Oh, there we go.
17.
Nice. Yeah, so you guys are all over here that two of these staff, there's a couple of them, there's two of them, both young, one's a man, one's a woman, both of them are sort of chatting to one another conspiratorially in the corner. They're actually staff members at the tavern, and you overhear a conversation where the two of them are hatching a plan to go and steal from Benici some of the alchemical flasks of a cure because they've run out of them. And you get the sense as well, based on their conversation, that they think that they can sell them extraordinary rate, or extortionate rate rather, because people are going to be willing to buy them from them. Benici's giving them away for free, but you only get like one per month or something like that, or maybe one per household. You have to ration it out. The two of them are going to plan to do this tonight. If you want to do anything about that, of course. They look like they're ready to head off in a little bit.
Yeah, I think Leo. She's gonna look at her sister. And she's gonna look at the other two and go, I don't think I want that to happen.
I
stop.
kind
You
of
want-
give a nod. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I agree. At that point, I start to get up, walk over their table, and take a seat with them and basically just start a conversation. Hey, how's it going? Lovely weather we're having. The pox is nice this time of year.
The two of them look at you, and the girl is like, yeah. Listen, we're kind of busy, so we gotta get going.
Well, you know what? No, I love your hair. I love what you do with it, and I just start petting the back of her head if I'm close enough, and just getting real up in her face, and knowing that I have a tendency to make people uncomfortable sometimes, I'm kind of playing on that.
Yeah, she definitely looks uncomfortable. Yeah, there's a playground, so if you could not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Leo's heading to Benici's to warn him.
Okay. Yeah, we've gotta go, so maybe we'll catch you later. We can.
Why?
catch
Where are you
up
going?
later.
What you doing? We're doing
she's taking
things. We're just
Balthazar
looking
with
at
her.
things to.
Balthazar, you're going to me. Listen, it's kind of whatever. It's a private thing.
Oh, I get it. I understand. What kind of private thing?
Right, we're gonna head out now. So it's been nice to be talked at with you, I guess.
Yeah, I don't like when people use that term, being talked at. I thought we were having a conversation. I was talking with you, not at you.
She looks like he's like, I don't know. Yeah, well, sorry, I guess. Gonna go now. She's like slipping past you, doing that like
Okay,
awkward shuffle past the person. Swing.
Have a good night. I hope things go well for you.
Okay. And the two of them slip out. By this time, of course, Leo and Balthazar are well on their way to the apothecary. Over to Benici. So you guys find yourselves over there, in 10 minute run across the town. And you see Benici inside. He's just sort of finishing up for the day, and he's locking the door to the apothecarium. Actually, has he seen you guys? No,
Nope.
you guys didn't go to the apothecary. Yeah, he says,
Well,
I'm
actually,
afraid.
Being that we're
Oh
twins,
yeah, he might think
may
that.
recognize her.
Yes.
Yeah, he thinks it's.
Yep.
Roll a perception check for
isn't it?
him.
It's Fiona. How did things go? Did you find anything? Just closing up.
Possibly something. Yeah. Possibly something with the rats down in the sewers. It looks like it's the next place to investigate. I just wanted to let you know that it seems like there are some people who are looking to start taking what you're giving away and selling it on the market. But in fact, there's a couple of them headed this way now. We can take care of that for you if you'd like.
Huh. Well, I appreciate that. I wish I could say it was the first time something like this had happened. That's why I've started locking everything up, but no doubt they would have found a way. Appreciate it. If you do catch them in the act or stop them from doing it at all, you could hand them over to the Burgomaster. I'm sure he'd be more than willing to pay for your assistance in this matter.
And you have a good evening, sir.
Very well. You too. And he heads off.
I look at Balthazar and say, shall we conceal ourselves, hide in the shadows, wait for him to show up and give them a rather nasty surprise?
Yeah, because he just said we get paid if they get hurt. I like that.
All right. So yeah, Leo's going to find some shadows to disappear into, and where she can watch for these guys to show up.
Yeah.
I'll find a
Taken by
shrub.
surprise.
Okay. Yeah. You you guys hide in some light shrubbery outside the Benici's house, and wait for the two of them to stroll up. A couple of minutes later, they do, and in hushed whispers, you hear the two of them. I don't think anyone's around. And they start to head towards the house to try and break their way in. The guy has a what looks to be a wrench, and he's going to try and smash open the lock to the door to let their way in.
As soon as he's within 10 feet of me, Leo pulls out her whip, and she's going to attack him with the whip to try to get him to drop the wrench.
Okay, so you're definitely surprising them. So you definitely have a surprise round here. So let's have you make that attack roll first off here, and we'll see what horrible fate awaits these people.
Okay, so I get a +4 to hit, and do I get any other bonus for that, or is it just the straight +4?
Well, yeah, because you're attacking them from behind and they're surprised. I have to see if there's a surprise. I think it just gives you a surprise round.
No, I get it because I'm a rogue. I get something called backstab,
Sweet.
which lets me make a melee attack against a target that is surprised by you. You gain a +4 to hit.
Oh, dope.
So it's
Nice.
it's the +4, and I don't think there's a
I can go double check for you here in a second. 74. You must be a 5 here. You roll a d20 plus your class level attack bonus and your strength modifier. So your strength mod gets in there, and there is a class table.
Okay. Well, I don't have a strength, and level 1 doesn't get anything.
Okay, so it's a d20, I think. A level 1.
All right.
Plus your 4. And you're looking for equal or higher than the target's armor class to hit. And you do damage according to your weapon table plus strength modifier.
All right. And for some reason, it's not wanting to take my modifiers, so we're just going to do this. Oh, come on, dice.
Fancy guns playing.
It keeps telling me it's a... Yeah, it's... I don't know if it's lagging or what the problem is.
Does it give you an error or something?
No, it's in the modifier box where it says adjusting, that little bracket has to go away first.
Oh, you just have to like press the
For it to
number,
accept...
I guess.
Yes, well, I'm doing that, and it's lagging on that, so...
Oh, weird, okay.
Oh.
You could just try rolling a flat d20 and then...
There it goes. All right.
There you go.
So
sweet, yeah.
18 plus 4, 22. So
That is definitely a hit beating his AC. As you whip him from behind.
all right. So I get a D4. It's a D4 for the whip, and then I get an extra 1d8 damage on that.
Nice.
Wow.
D4.
Just gonna decapitate him.
Given what we
not-
have for hit points, that's...
His kappa is about to be dictated. Let's see.
Okay. So it's only 4 damage.
Hey, 4 damage ain't bad. So, okay, so you whip him from behind and lash out. Describe to us what a wounding attack with the whip looks like from Leo here.
It just comes out and it just wraps around his wrist with a real sting, and she just pops it and makes him drop the wrench, and then she just does a quick snap and it uncoils.
Nice. Okay then, so we also let Balthazar have a turn here, my friend.
Okay, I'll take my staff, and since she was using the 10 feet attack, we'll use that advantage too, since the staff reaches that far, and
Nice.
go for a pull cue shot in the middle of his chest. So
Nice.
Straight roll, no. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna just whiff it.
Oh dang! Yeah, you. Your eye is just a little bit off. You attack the shadow rather than the person. But boy,
sounds
do
about
you
right.
get the shadow.
I hit that cement real well.
So the 4 of you, let's roll for 2 of you rather, plus the 2 enemies. Let's roll for initiative. You need to make a dex check. If you fail, you act after the monsters, which is a nice way of doing initiative, actually. And if you succeed, you act before.
Okay, so the dex check, we throw the modifier in, right?
I believe you do, yeah. Alrighty. Oh, that looks like a success for Balthazar.
Yeah, I can move fast. I just can't hit you.
I don't know why it is not wanting to take my rolls. This is so
I'll
weird.
roll a d20 for you here. Yeah.
Okay, it's a +3.
Hey, I rolled a nat 20, so...
All right. Well, I'll just let you keep rolling for me then.
Yeah, that sounds good. So you've taken a surprise round. You get a free round. The surprise round works pretty similarly to most other surprise rounds in various different games. And now you've rolled initiative. You've succeeded in a dex check, which goes before the bad guys. So Leona, you can act again. You have managed to whip this man in the back. He's looking pretty damn wounded from it. And Balthazar has attacked the darkness somewhat successfully. What would you like to do?
I'm just a soft voice out of the darkness. They've already known the whip has come out, and I say, "You want to leave?"
Ooh. I'll let you roll a. What's the intimidate skill? Man, I've lost my skill sheet. That was dumb. Is there anything with the only bad thing about having PDFs is that you can't have multiple pages open at the same time like I can in the book. Skills 50.
And you missed that page flipping.
Yeah. I usually have little tabs in them. Yeah, there probably is a way to do that. But I'm just not smart. Okay, you can roll a leadership is the skill, charisma based.
Okay.
I'll give you that roll for free as an extra little intimidation.
All
As you need
right.
to roll for this.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what's going on with the dice here.
That's no good.
Why it's not working those.
It's a 16 on the die.
+1, so 17.
Nice. He drops his wrench, already have been whipped over the back, like close to death. He's and starts to run.
All right, and I
good
look at Balthazar. I go, "Get him."
Ah!
Balthazar, what are you doing?
Spring out from the bush and just tackle him.
Alrighty.
Just
You can roll
ground
me a
and
strength. Yeah, you can roll me a strength here. Oh, and in fact, it's acrobatics as well. So if you have any,
Well, the
Athletics,
acrobatics,
rather.
that would have been a +2 to that. So I think I just
Oh,
hugged
man.
the darkness.
so Balthazar attacks the darkness and then jumps into the darkness with an embrace. and finds himself in the dirt while the guy's running away. Meanwhile, the girl also makes good her getaway. She's not going to try and fight you guys and try and kill you, but she is going to try and run away and use her action to dash out and into the darkness as well. So
I'm gonna go after the guy.
okay, yeah,
and try to
he's
track
been
him down.
whipped, so he's a little bit slower. You can roll me that athletics or an acrobatics to try and tackle him if you want.
We'll do acrobatics because I am trained in that, so that'll give me a +5.
That is a 22. Damn, I'm rolling well for you today.
You want to take over my rolls too, Will?
Yeah, just doing this as a service. Absolutely. You just oof him into the ground, and all of the wind goes out from his lungs as you grapple him to the floor. Balthazar, you got. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna sit on him until Balthazar comes over and tie him up.
Yeah. Balthazar, by the time you jog over to where Leona is, the girl has run away successfully into the darkness. She's pretty spry and sprightly. Meanwhile, Fiona and Harold, were you guys headed over here as well, or did you stay back in the tavern?
Harold remained back at the tavern. He looks up after a little while and goes, "Oh, where did they go? Oh well, their drinks are mine."
Okay, and Fiona, were you headed over?
Yeah, I would have headed over after the two left the building. I would have waited about a minute, if that, and try to follow them as far as I could while still maintaining eyesight.
Sure thing, yeah. So you sort of crept up and you're there in time to watch this display. The owner whips one, then he runs away. Balthazar swings into the darkness and then jumps on the darkness, and then the owner catches one. So yeah, you're here by the time that everything has gone down.
Yeah, so at that point I would have walked up to them and look at the dwarf and say, Shadow put up quite a fight there, eh?
Hey, there was 3 of them, I tell you. I thought there was 3. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
take this one to the
Sister got one.
Burgermeister. We should take this one to the Burgermeister. Turn him in.
Oh, yeah. That's worth some gold there. Speaking of that, what do they got on him before we turn him in? I mean, that's not the right thing to say. I mean, maybe he needs to make a donation.
I let Balthazar check him out.
He has a couple of gold pieces on him, but he's fairly poor, like most of the other people around here. But a couple of gold. He's like, "Oh, fine, take it, but just don't hand me over to the Burgermaster. I'm sorry. She's the one that talked me into all of this. I didn't want to do any of it."
Yeah,
It's just that
we don't buy that.
I want to get her nice things, and she's always saying that I don't have any money to take her anywhere, and it's totally
Well, then
understand
maybe-
my plight.
I'm sure if you tell the Burgermeister that, he'll understand your plight and give him her name, and I'm sure they'll be quite happy to.
I don't know if that's a good idea, actually. I think what I probably should do is just go back home and have a good hard think about everything that I've done, about all my mistakes, and
Yeah, right after you see the Burgermeister, I'm sure that's.
hold on here. Maybe you were all in town to learn about the plague, right?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Maybe I could help. Maybe I know something, a thing or two that could be useful to you.
I doubt it, or you'd be going after the money yourself.
I'm not trained in how to make any potions or stuff. I'm just able to steal them. But if I had the ability to, I would try. Listen, my uncle, he's a sewer jack, and well, he said to me that he saw something the other day. And if you promise to oversee this little this mishap, misunderstanding of ours, maybe I can tell you what he told me. Huh? You say?
Maybe you can anyways.
Why don't you tell us first and then we'll decide?
What's the rating, Mike, for the raid? Thank you, buddy. How you doing? Welcome in. We are trying to solve a plague and attacking the darkness at the same time. Yeah, the young man. Well, you're still sitting on him at this point, I assume. Well, how about this? You give me your word that you'll let me go if what I tell you is useful, and then I'll tell you.
At that point, I walk up. Well, we can just turn you in now, or you can choose to trust us.
I suppose you hold all the
You
cards
don't
here.
have an option.
I suppose you're right. Well, let's see. My uncle, he's a sewer jack, and he said that he saw something down in the sewers a few months ago, about when the plague had started. He said that he saw a rat as large as a man with his own two eyes, all covered in scabs and pink blotches all over its body. The thing looked at him, and my uncle's a smart man, if not a brave one, and decided to flee upon sight of the beast.
Oh, come on now.
No
You
one-
don't expect us to believe that. The Empire has told us specifically that there are no man-sized rats in the sewers around here.
Well,
Turtles, maybe, not rats.
I think that the ninja theory has been disproven by now. That's what he saw, and he swears that he saw it with his own two eyes. Now, I've seen rats around here that have scabs all over them. Do you think it's possible that they might be spreading the disease?
Where did he see this rat man?
Well, in the eastern sewers where he works, or somewhere in that tunnel system.
What's your uncle's name?
Baroque. Uncle Baroque.
Is your uncle still alive?
Yes, of course he is. He will correlate this story. He'll back me up. And he has a bit more coin than I do, so maybe his contribution will go so far as to pay my punishment to the burgomaster.
Well,
What do you
maybe
say?
when we turn you into the Burgermeister and we tell him what you've told us, and we talk to your uncle, and it's verified, and perhaps even if we can catch this rat man, you might not suffer quite severe as a punishment.
Really, I don't know if there's any need for turning me over at all. I mean, I didn't even commit a crime. Didn't even get the chance to. Really, I was pressured into it under duress, and I've been very helpful. I don't see what more I could possibly do to serve my city. I mean, I'm doing my civic duty here.
I turn to Leo
We're
and
not
say, just break his leg already and let's be done with it.
What?
Be done with it or beat him with it? Which one was that?
You know that's why we have Balthazar now.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm so used to relying on you.
Okay,
I
kneecap
appreciate
shot.
it.
What? There's just what am I talking about? Just hand
I
me over
just
the
flat
burgomaster.
swinging his kneecap.
Don't.
Do you want
Yeah,
me to roll
he-
for it and try missing again?
No. He's like prone and not able to resist at all. So yeah, you can describe to us what that looks and sounds like, please, Rick.
Okay. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the inside of the leg out, so we make sure that that kneecap completely displaces and rolls to the outside, which should make a nice popping noise with a little bit of water balloon sound to it. And he'll be nice and hobbled, and that leg should kind of crook a little bit inside, and it'll be easily fixed in a couple days. But yeah, it's going to dislocate it and
excruciatingly painful.
Yeah. But I want to grab him by the ankle and go,
Now, did we say be done with it or beat him with it?
Well, I think that he won't be able to get far. Maybe if we can go check things out tomorrow, and when we get back, he'll be easy enough to find. And if it's doesn't check out, then we drag him to the Burgermeister.
I know where I work, so that sounds fair. My uncle lives on the docks. Let me write down the address for you.
Thank you.
He's like crying still. He does write down the address for you, very helpfully.
You're lucky. My sister here is a healer. Maybe if this all checks out,
I feel so lucky.
she might be able to help you out in a day or two.
as he goes to wander off, because this will be real easy to pop back in the joint, because he did say he has to work tomorrow. Balthazar very kindly is going to grab the ankle, put his hand on the side of the kneecap, yank, and put everything back in place. Which should make another great kindly. Yeah.
And the knee goes.
Yeah. I mean, the water on the knee, he's got that, but I mean,
Right. Yeah.
Dwarven chiropractor.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. He screams some more and then sort of slowly hobbles away.
I pick up the
Faster than
wrench.
he would have gone the other way.
Oh. It's getting late. I think we should go back and get some sleep.
Yeah, we should go make sure Harold's not getting in any trouble.
True.
Yeah, here's a question. Is Harold awake by the time they return?
How much food and drink is gone?
Right.
Quick look. Harold, by all accounts, gave out after about the third pint. It's been a long day, so he's happily just sleeping in that sort of slightly sticky puddle that's left on even a good table.
Incredible. So you guys get back to the tavern, and there is Harold. There he lies.
Did we all get separate rooms, or do we have bunk together?
Yeah, you'd have separate rooms.
Yeah, I think
right.
Fi and Leona probably share a room just because they always have.
Right.
I'll grab Harold, throw him over my shoulder, and start taking him to bed.
Okay. Anything you guys would like to do for the rest of tonight before tomorrow? Good. So, the group of you wake up in the morning. Breakfast is served. It's a hearty breakfast of some meats and cheeses and bread, and an ale to wash it down with as well. And Bryndewold is not exactly what you'd call bustling in the morning due to the quarantine, but it is a little bit busier than it was in the evening, at least. You've got a couple of leads that you guys can follow, one including this young boy's uncle. So what would you guys like to do this morning as you sit down for breakfast?
So
I imagine we filled Harold in.
Youngins find out anything useful last night, or were you just out having fun?
Both?
Both can be good.
got a lead on a possible rat ban down in the eastern sewers that was seen a couple of months ago that might have something to do with this. Something to go check out.
Rat man.
Yeah. Maybe he wears a cowl.
I'll have to remind myself to oil up Betty. And you know from the travels that when he refers to Betty, it's actually his crossbow.
Thank God.
Good idea. Yeah, probably a good
Now,
idea to oil up.
has there been any myths or lore about animal creatures or animal humanoids, were creatures, anything like that?
I mean, it's sort of the stuff of fairy tale, I suppose. Yeah. There's talk of like huge dogs or huge wolves or huge rats. Tracing back for probably hundreds of years, people have been telling these stories, but no one would have ever seen something like this, or at the very least, maybe they'd have never lived to tell the tale. But
I don't know. I feel that once we finish eating, we should go pay a visit to the kid's uncle, see what he has to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm
Seems
kind
like
of
our only
wondering how.
direct lead.
I'm wondering
Find
how
out
this
what he
uncle's still
drinks.
alive.
Yeah, that's a good point. We could ply him with liquor, loosen his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Yeah, you guys head over then to the address which the young man wrote down for you, and have a knock on the door. I guess a few moments later, Barrock, who does reek like a sewer jack, and he's got a sort of diminutive hunch to him from someone having spent years just spending time down in the sewers. And he will look up as he opens the door and it says, yes, what is it? You're not the priests, are you?
Nope, not even close.
Well, how can I help
We're here looking for a little information that your nephew kind of spewed out.
Oh, I see. He does have a rather loose tongue sometimes, I suppose. What, has he got himself into trouble again?
Well, he kind of got himself in trouble, but he kind of traded you out to get himself out of trouble, so we just need a little information.
Fine. What is it?
He mentioned that you were down in the sewers and ran into something a little extraordinary that you saw. Kind of like a big rat/man.
You better come inside. And he lets you into his little hovel.
Does he look ill?
Yeah, he looks quite ill, actually. His even the wraps around his arms aren't enough to truly hide the fact that he has some of the contagion. Yes,
going in there.
He shrugs and stands at the door. Suit yourselves. I saw the creature months ago now. It still haunts my dreams. Sends me nightmares. I suppose he probably told you what I'll tell you now is beast of looked like a rat, but far larger, the size of me, maybe bigger. Red eyes staring down at me. I ran. I'm not ashamed to say it.
Did you touch it?
No, of course not.
Did it follow you?
I don't think so. I ran as
Was
fast as
it
I
alone?
could.
Were there
I only saw one. feasibly it could have had others with it. I don't know. I only can speak to what I saw.
About
Anybody
how
else?
long earlier, did you start showing the signs of all this after you saw it?
I don't know. A week, 2. I've taken the apothecary's medicine, so it's only a matter of time, no.
Any of your fellow co-workers seen one of these?
No one but me. They all think I'm mad. Maybe I am.
Do you think you could lead us to where it was?
I don't want to go back there. Thank you very much.
What are you afraid of?
The creature, of course.
You're already dying.
I
Exactly.
have weeks. I have weeks yet, so they tell me. No rush to speed up
Week-
that process.
Have you
Weeks of
seen
oozing
these
out
people die?
between badges and all that, yeah.
Listen, I'm sure I could give you a map of the sewer system and about roughly where I was at the time, but nothing other than divine intervention is going to get me down there again.
How about 400 gold? Or at least a share of it.
Hey, whoa now.
400 gold.
A share. Oh, come on. We give him 25 gold. It's more gold than I imagine you've seen in a long,
Or gold
long
that he
time.
can spend before he dies.
Exactly.
200 gold.
75.
100. Final offer.
50. Final offer.
Not worth it.
I look at the others to see if they want to give into his 100 gold or
As
not.
far as I can see, there are 4 of you, so if someone gives up their share, I'll be willing to take you down there. Good luck going on your own into the sewers. You'll be lost for hours, days even.
Hey, you know what, gang? I'll give up my share for this guy. I'm sure he'll come back in the end. So you got my 100 gold.
We can all give up a portion too. Like, all right, I'm in. I'll give up part of my share.
What kind of man would stand there and barter for money that he's never going to be able to spend?
I have children. They'll need it.
But what if they're going to die too in a short amount of time if we don't stop this thing?
Wow, that would
Everybody
be
you
enough
know
money
and
to-
love is dead.
That'll be enough money to get them out of the city.
Not if we tell the guards about it. Tell the Burgermeister about it.
Well, if you do that, I'm certainly not going to help you. Listen, I have something that you want. You either pay for it, or you walk. It's as simple as that.
We each give up 25 gold. I'm willing.
I'm good
Yeah, I
with
kind
that.
of back away and go stand behind Leo.
I mean, as he
So
says,
you lead
it-
us down there. And we get you the gold once we're out. Because I want to make sure you get us out alive, too.
It's fair enough.
That's his incentive to get out. Get us out alive is that gold. He's not going to get it without us.
All right, then. Then we have a deal. He spits on his hand and extends it
Yeah.
to shake.
Nope. Not going there.
No.
You tell us
Suit
when and where to
yourselves.
meet you.
All right. Well, this afternoon, by the eastern sewers, there's an entrance there. You can't miss it. I'll meet you there. Make sure that you come with torches and rags to prevent the stench from overcoming you.
Sounds good.
All right then. And he closes the door. What do you guys want to do?
I've already got 10 torches in my bag, so we don't need to go by torches. So, and I'm sure I've got some strips of cloth.
Mhm.
But probably want to hit something, probably want to cover it with some kind of antiseptic to prevent anything we're probably going to breathe in.
I think
I can provide light for at least for myself. I don't know how if the three of you have got any of them their supernatural affinities to underground. Gives me the willies.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh, I think you're muted, Leona.
Leon's on mute again.
Sorry about that. My dogs keep barking, so I keep muting. Can either of you do some type of breathing apparatus or filtering or something like that? Masks for us to wear?
I should be able to rig something up. Might not be the most pleasant of aromas, but some sort of some strips of leather to hold the cloth in spirits or something like that. Good against the auguse, I hear.
Sounds good. Anything's going to be better than that sewer smell. Suppose we head back and we get ready.
Yeah, get Harold any supplies he needs.
Yep.
Yeah. So Harold says to work, and I suppose you guys head over towards the sewer entrance, where you see Barak, who is anxiously waiting for the group of you to turn up. He nods his head as you come over. So you did show up. I wondered if you would.
I'm definitely in something that's got my head covered, and I've got that mask on, and I've got gloves on.
Please tell me, Harold, that was the role to make that stuff.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Nice.
At 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are clad in biohazard suits or something.
We're full scuba gear.
Right.
But of course, Harold at the very least is showing up with his light crossbow holstered by his side and his wooden backpack. The group knows has a set of wooden spray bottles inside, and Harold says that they're made out of wood on account of what happens to metal with what's in them.
Oh.
Oh,
That
indeed.
sounds so safe. Harold, you get to walk in front.
It's your lucky day.
It's
So,
not immediately explosive.
Just imminently. Yeah, it's the key. Okay, so yeah, you see Barak and he sort of gestures towards the sewer entrance. Everyone ready? Because
Lead the way.
if what's down there is still down there, he might be in for a fight.
Well, let me
do this.
guess. You're gonna sit back for that one too?
They'll pay me for that. Get you in, get you out.
Yep.
All right then. And he unlocks the sewer entrance and leads you all into the stench and darkness of the sewers of Bryndewold. And I think at that point, we hit just slightly before I was expecting us to, due to some damn good rolling tonight on the part of myself via you guys, vice versa. That is where we're going to end tonight's episode of the Blight over Bryndewold in the low fancy gaming setting and system. So thank you guys there in chat for watching. I want to go around the cast and the crew. I want to know if you enjoyed yourselves, where we can find you guys online, and what you're thinking about the low fancy gaming system after having a little taste of it here today. So let's start off with Drake. How is that, my friend?
Hey, I actually like the low fantasy gaming. It's nice to kind of be a little gritty, a little bit rough around the edges, and know that the spell's just not going to bail you out. It doesn't matter with my rolls. I'm not going to attack anything but the darkness. So, but I really enjoyed it. And looking through the PDF that you sent over earlier, I want to dive a little more into it. The one thing I did find interesting is monks usually get a dex bonus. These monks have more of a strength bonus. So interesting to see how that developed for the monk class.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And where might we find you online?
You actually find me online at Drake Finney _, and that's because I have the underscore because Drake Finney has got banned from Twitter, so I can't get it out of that. It's in limbo. And you can find me also on Facebook, on Twitch, all at Drake Finney. And if you are watching around on Facebook, this weekend we'll be actually at Dice Throne Con 2019, where they're going to be revealing Season 3, and we're going to have a lot of spoilers that we're going to be streaming on that one.
Awesome, fantastic. And the same sort of questions go over to Charlotte Foxfire 22. How was that tonight, first of all?
It's been fun so far. It's a neat system. It's a neat setting. I could get into the system more after our 3 episodes are done. It's simple. It's quick to get into. To me, I feel it's more about the story than it is the mechanics itself. Mm-hmm. Using a system like this is low. What's the word I'm looking for?
Intrusion, maybe? Doesn't get in the way of...
Yeah, it's like rules light. It's like you only roll when you absolutely need to roll, and you can move the story forward very easily. Like reading through the book a little bit, there were certain parts in there where for initiative or for player movements, the GM has the option of using the 5-second rule almost. Being able to count down on his hand or her hand 5 seconds, and once that's done, if you as a player haven't indicated your actions, it was moving on to somebody else, just to keep the game going at a decent pace. The system itself is not designed to let it be a slog. There's benefits to being quick at what you do. So it's a pretty interesting system. It'll be neat when it comes out. The artwork that's in the book itself, I'm kind of enjoying some of it. I'm not too sure when the release date is for the deluxe, but I think that information might be on the website.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, you can find me on Twitter mainly at Foxfire22. That's FOXFYRE22. This weekend, I'm going to be taking part of the 48-hour charity stream for Encounter Roleplay. I will be playing with Will and Kat on the Warhammer Fantasy 2nd Edition game at 2 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. I'm looking forward to that one. Then later on that night at 11 p.m. Eastern, we have our cast show for Simbaroom. That's our episode 7. So it's going to be a fun weekend. There are still a few spots open, I think, for GMs and for players on some of the games. If you go over to Encounter RP on Twitter, there is a link for the spreadsheet for what's still available. Aside from that, I think that's about all I have to say for now.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll drop a link there for you guys in the chat in case you want to go check that out now. Amazing, thank you. And Cleric of Chords, same questions over to you.
Oh, well, this system is, I love that there's a separate perception skill. Or a stat. It's actually its own stat.
Right.
Besides strength and dexterity. I like that. I like, it's not based on, it makes sense. It seemed like, oh, well, yeah, it should. It is, it's very simple. It's very easy. The math is easy. You know, you take your modifier, you have a +1 if you're trained in the skill, and you roll a d20. So it's really straightforward. I really like it. I love the grimdark setting. I really like that. I just started getting into grimdark settings in the last 6 months or so, and have really kind of fallen for that. And it's like Charlotte said, the system gets out of the way of the story. Yeah,
Right.
it's not. It doesn't get in the way of the story. It doesn't slow it down. I really enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes tonight, in the upcoming weeks. But I am at Cleric of Chord. That's where you can find me on the Twitters. You can find me here on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, playing Sister of Battle in Warhammer 40k, which is another rather grim setting, which I love. Or you can hear again on Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern, like I was earlier, playing Due Diligence, who is a Warforged wizard who tends to take things a little too literal, perhaps. And I'll be here this weekend with Charlotte, and on Sunday I will be playing at 2 p.m. Eastern, Bluebeard's Bride, with Jonathan Fry as our storyteller. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. And thank you guys for having me play with you. I love playing with all of you. It's great. This has just been great.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Well, last but not least, and Stefan, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, my friend.
Oh, I actually really like this system for what I've seen so far. Particularly the style of the rules, being able to just skim through them in a lunch break, pretty much, in between work and having this much fun. I particularly like, we haven't been there yet, but the not quite dying mechanics look like they're quite fun. And just to give a flavor of the rules, the fact that the rule book says pretty much, well, if they make the save, if anybody does anything, you're just in a not quite dying state. Brackets, including looting the body.
Right.
Which I thought was okay. They're covering all the player bases here. So yes, and I mean it's familiar in that it's essentially a D20 roll high, apart from when you roll low, sort of system. So it just makes sense, and as everybody's been saying, it's there as a prop to the story. It isn't the story in itself, which is rather nice. Certainly helps in a setting such as this, where atmosphere is everything, I think. And I mean that's part of the great thing on this channel generally, is this is a place to go to for atmosphere between great players, great GMs that are on here.
And actually, he brought up something really good to mention, that the death system, it's permadeath real easy in this game. So, we're just not rushing in and hoping there's a heal spell or a health vial. It's not in there. This is kind of, we go into combat, each one might be fatal.
Your last, yeah.
And my track record with you, Will, is not good.
It's true, yeah. I take no responsibility for that.
Yeah, magic is not readily available. Magic items, magic services, magic healing. One of the races, I think, is a resistance to some certain magical effects. That also means that
we can't take
the dwarves. Yes.
Yeah.
No magical healing.
Magic
for dwarves.
healing is only half on us.
Yeah, So, I mean, that makes sense. If you're, as a race, magically resistant to many things, that includes healing.
Yeah, definitely. Staffan, where can we find you online, my friend?
Oh, anywhere under Staffan TJ. I occasionally kibbutz on various games. Occasional villains in the 2 p.m. Wednesday Call of Cthulhu on here. Occasionally I show up on Grimjacks or Scraticus. Most of the time I'm just hanging out in chat having fun.
Fantastic.
If I'm not
definitely
freezing.
if you if you guys enjoyed tonight's episode, then definitely go and check out Low Fantasy Gaming on their website. You can go and download the game for free. There's a free PDF that you can go check out the rules and have a read through yourself. And a bunch of great adventures on Drive for RPG and on their website as well. A bunch of maps, some great assets, some pre-gens as well. Pretty much everything and anything you would need to start playing some role-playing games. So go ahead and check it out, my friends. And until next time, we're back here every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, for another 2 episodes coming up here next week and the week after. We'll see you guys then. And until next time, try not to roll too many net ones, because we want to be a little laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Night.
Bye.